Activate.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to this pink cloud. As you can tell, our sound effects are not operable today.
That's the iPad, dude. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the iPad.
That was a direct sound effect.
That was the iPad, wasn't it?
That was the iPad.
Yeah, it was just my...
It was my pad.
Right. My
That was
pad.
tight, dude.
I don't want to hear about your pad.
Yeah, dude, chill, dude.
Chad. Anyway, but we are a show that is all about mental health, recovery, substance use disorder, all that good stuff. So be sure to like, subscribe. We're streaming on all major platforms. Sitting to my right with his very stylish serial killer glasses. Yeah. Everybody give it up for Chad. I'm Chad Dahmer.
Chafe lemons.
Yeah.
Chafe lemons.
But no, that's those are some fancy fancy eyewear, dude.
Yeah, dude, you know, say what you want about Jeffrey Dahmer. Yeah, he did some bad shit or whatever, but like the guy had a good taste in eyewear. You know what I mean?
Dude, yeah,
he did. So I was inspired when I saw that show. I wanted to get the yellow ones.
Yeah.
But I was like, you can't wear those everywhere.
The yellow ones are a little more like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. But
little Johnny Depp, yeah.
Whatever. I just like making jokes about serial killers, I guess. I don't know. Maybe that's why I bought them.
Well, that's good for you.
That's why I cut my leg off, so I can make jokes about having a fake leg.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's worked out.
It's worked out really
There's
well.
a lot of material.
Dude, so much, dude. Yeah. Well, I mean... part of it's missing, you know what I mean? The material.
Sure.
About my shin, halfway down my shin.
Pow.
Yeah, you know, see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It just never ends.
Right. Well, I am excited to have this young lady in. I saw her on the interwebs.
Yeah.
I'm out there, yeah.
Right. But, yeah, I'm excited to talk about this subject because it's what you do for a living. It's called EMDR. Everybody give it up for, is it Miss or Mrs. Molly Cook?
But yeah, I don't care.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, Mrs. it means you're married.
Right. It's weird. I think that's what we'll go with Ms.
Okay. Ms.
The in between.
Miss Molly Cook, questionably occupied romantically. I saw you on Instagram, and then it turns out you're friends with CJ and Adam, who is Mantra Recovery.
Mm-hmm.
I say Mantra.
I was going to say, you said it right.
A Mantra.
Mantra
Recovery, because I'm from Texas.
Mantra Recovery.
But yeah, so you're friends and you do work with them as well. Mm-hmm. But I saw like a reel that you did, and you were kind of getting into it. But let's talk about, I guess, the backstory, you know, because I know you also have some involvement with Al-Anon and all that good stuff. So please.
Yeah. So I'm a licensed therapist, and I kind of got into this field, into this work because of my, I guess, history or, you know, my life growing up in a household with addiction, dysfunctional family dynamic, if you will.
Right.
And, kind of ended up just following that interest, I guess, wanting to figure out, why is this a thing, and how do we fix it?
Sure.
My trauma response. How do I fix it?
Right.
And it just
some people are natural fixers.
Yeah. It's a thing. So it really. I mean, I learned initially. I first learned about EMDR when I was in grad school in a class specifically talking about.
Where were you going
trauma.
to school?
The University of Texas at Austin.
No,
hell yes.
Big boy school.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
did you get to work with all the homeless people down there?
I sure did.
Yeah,
I sure did.
They got plenty of them now.
They sure do. Right. And they're out there.
Yeah.
Right. Well, so what were you going to school for?
So I got my undergrad degree in sociology also at UT, and you know, I was interested in, let me look at the global macro level issues. Why is this a thing? Why is, addiction, trauma a thing? And
what did you find out?
There's a lot of reasons.
Yeah?
And one person can't really make a tangible impact, not the kind that was satisfying enough for me. So I was like, okay,
right,
maybe I need to work directly, more one-on-one with people. So went into also I need to make money
Right.
to sustain my life.
Yeah.
So grad school in social work, and that's where I first heard about EMDR as a thing, and I didn't end up getting trained until like years later when I was working in addiction treatment and realized.
Yeah, because
like,
you're an LCDC as well. Okay.
Yeah.
So then how many, like, so what year did you graduate? Like, paint us a little timeline.
I graduated in 2017.
Okay.
I want to say. That
Okay.
sounds right.
I'm doing the math.
Yeah.
How old you are now.
Yeah.
We were talking about that
Yeah.
earlier. I was like, oh,
I'm
you're like 25. Yeah, right.
Yeah, we'll go with it.
We'll go with that.
Yeah. And then, I worked in a variety of settings, but once I got up into the Dallas area, I ended up in addiction treatment.
Are you from
facility.
Austin, or where are you from?
I'm from the burbs of DFW.
Okay.
In the HEB area.
Ah,
the
shout out
mid-cities.
HEB. Right? Hurst,
Yeah.
Euless, Bedford.
Good place. So
Also
Right.
a grocery store.
Right?
also a much better grocery store.
Right. And Kelly Clarkson's from one of those.
She's from Burleson.
Oh, Burleson, not Bedford.
Close
Yeah.
though.
Great job,
It's-
Kelly.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Way to fuck that one
I
up.
tried.
Come on.
Right?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, no, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Hey, Jamie, pull up where Kelly Clarkson's from.
Right. Exactly.
Sorry, Kelly,
Yeah.
if I got that wrong.
Right.
We're real close.
Because she's watching the show.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we got to fact check everything
Right.
nowadays, or else we'll get canceled.
Yeah. But yeah, so I moved back up here after being in Austin for 8 years or so for school. Moved back up to the Dallas area. Was working in treatment and was like, wow, I am ill-equipped.
Yeah?
I need more training on
Okay.
how to treat this, specifically how to treat trauma, because you start seeing, there's a reason why people are drinking and using to excess or
Right.
can't stop.
Right.
And it's trauma.
Right.
Pretty
And
much
yeah,
always.
people, it's called coping.
Yeah.
And they use it as a coping mechanism. So then you found that out, and then what was your next course of action?
So then I got trained in EMDR. So I got trained by Rick Levinson, who is an amazing trainer. He's based in Austin. He was the person who came and spoke in my class in grad school. So I went and got trained. Make that sound like it was like a quick thing. It was
Right.
a lot of hours.
Yeah, how long is the training for EMDR?
So it was 2 weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, if I remember correctly, all day.
Right.
And then in between, you're doing EMDR and doing there's 10 hours, I think, of consultation you have to do in between the class time, and then you have your basic training, and then certification is more.
Well, first off, what does EMDR stand for?
It stands for eye movement desensitization and reprocessing.
I love that. That sounds fancy. But okay, so do you use that? Is that something if I were to get certified, could I be in EMDR? Not the therapist part, but could I give EMDR?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
So in order to be trained, I believe you have to have certain credentials. You have to be in the field. I know you a social worker, even grad student, doctors,
Right.
physicians.
I just didn't know
nurses.
if it was okay, you have to be a therapist and then you can add this on.
It basically is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're, the lay person
Right.
can't get trained.
Like Chet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why, dude? Because I'm disabled? That's fucked
right.
up.
That's right.
That's fucked up,
exactly.
Kelly.
And you wear serial.
That's fucked
serial
up.
killer
Dude,
glasses.
these look
so,
fun.
yeah.
I look sharp. I'm looking at myself right now on the street.
Yeah, but
this is dope, dude.
your beard game is weak.
Bro, look, have I ever successfully shaved my beard?
No.
No. Not one
He
time.
had this Santa
Not
Claus
one
beard
time.
going.
It's like my addiction, dude. Every
he
time
had
I'm
it going,
get up to
he
shave
had
it,
and
I
then
think
he
it's
was
going to be different.
He was going to shape it up a little bit. Didn't-
no.
And I decided to do it 30 minutes before work because I'm a fucking genius.
At
right?
5 in the morning.
And I'm just like, you know what, dude? Why would I wait till tomorrow when I'm off work with money in my pocket to have somebody professionally do it when I could just take this fucking $19.99 beard trimmer and do it myself? And it looked like fucking Joe Biden took a fucking golf divot out of the side of it, so then I had to shave the whole thing. Biden. So no, not once have I ever successfully trimmed my own beard, dude.
Well,
thank you for bringing that up, dude.
No problem.
I need EMDR now.
I was about to say,
right? He needs some trauma therapy.
Sounds like a trauma you need to process.
Yeah. So okay. So you're out practicing therapy, and then you realize, hey, I need some more tools to help deal with this, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So, yeah. Then I ended up getting into the one-on-one direct therapy, which is ironically exactly what I thought I never wanted to do.
Right.
Of course, that's just...
What did you think you wanted to do?
I don't know. Fix it all. Like just
have
be
a
able,
wand and just like one swoop and everybody's good. Okay.
Yeah. I definitely thought I saw myself more in a leadership maybe role, or like a more, I help support the people who are actually like the boots on the ground doing stuff. But then, yeah.
Right. So more of a
Director
executive
position,
executive position, more so than boots on the ground.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Because I like to look at, I mean, that's just kind of how my brain works, I guess. I like to look at the bird's eye view of all the pieces that are, I don't know, coming together to make whatever issue become an issue.
So basically you're saying you have a God complex. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, right.
We'll talk to my therapist about this. Yeah. Yeah.
But so then you end up doing this, and then is it more like you were doing LCDC work where you did this, or just therapy in general?
Therapy in general, yeah. And just, I mean, grad school, they teach you things, but there's only so much time you're there. You only get so much exposure to actual one-on-one direct practice. And I was like, I really don't feel like I don't feel equipped. Right. So, yeah, EMDR was definitely a more structured approach to help me figure out how do I actually help someone who's like, I have trauma. It gets in my way day to day. Help me. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question for you though. So you took the licensed clinical social worker approach to it instead of taking an LPC approach to it. What is the difference between, because LCDCs, you're very limited on what you can, what your scope is. You can treat something as it, or if the addiction is first, right? If the addiction caused the trauma, then you can treat it. But other than that, you're fucking shit out of luck and you can get canceled
you almost,
for lack of better purpose.
You almost sounded intelligent until you said shit out of luck.
You're lucky. I should have you muted. You know what I mean? That's what I should do.
Have you muted. Have you muted.
But yeah, so what is the, with LCSW and LPC, like the approach you can take is really similar, right?
It is, yeah. And I am very biased. I am a social worker, so I took that route. They're very similar. You can do a lot of similar things, LPCs and social workers. Social workers can do more or have more. Like a social worker can be, there's a lot more you can do with it. And social workers take a different approach, I guess, where, you know, what's like, I'm thinking.
A therapist has a lane they have to stay in, whereas you have a broader spectrum to address what's going on.
Right. Like if somebody doesn't have their basic needs met, then therapizing them all day long.
Therapizing. I like
anything,
that. Therapizing.
Like counseling them on, and it doesn't matter what training you have or whatever.
All the therapy in the world is not going to help somebody get their driver's license.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's kind of to put it very, like, oversimplify it, that's where I think
that's
social
what Kelly
work
does because he's dumb.
There we go.
We'll dumb it down.
Right. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of the social work route is really taking a more systemic look at things, like what are the different systems in your life that are working for you, against you, and then how do you fit into that? And then we can look at, okay, how do we therapize, like what needs help.
And it would be fair to say that you guys work with like a different socioeconomic level of people too, if depending on your whatever actual job you want to get as a social worker. Because I know they have them at hospitals, they have them everywhere. Because I've had to deal with social workers
in
like a
prison
lot when I was in
wherever.
Yeah, prison, all of that stuff. Which LPCs are very rarely, you know what I mean, going to be involved in.
Right,
like
dude,
that.
that's beneath them.
Yeah.
Dusty's not gonna get his nails dirty out of prison.
Well, he works with LifePath though.
Yeah,
and LifePath they deal with a socioeconomic, very diverse client.
Right.
I'll just
He's
say
an
that.
honorary social worker.
Yeah,
that's what we call them. Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah. That was one of my first roles as a social worker, was working at Travis State Jail in this program that I don't think exists anymore, that was designed to help reduce recidivism and help people with
I love that
substance
word,
use.
by the way.
You love the word recidivism. It
I
makes
do.
me sound smart.
It does.
Recidivism.
It's it's a $20 word for sure. Yeah.
But you don't see a lot of LPCs in those kinds of settings where you're doing case management type stuff.
Yeah.
That social workers, we know how to do.
Yeah, because then you get to take a look, like you were saying, like the basic needs. You can bring families in, and you can deal with families and all of that other stuff. There's just it's a lot broader scope. Okay, cool.
Totally.
Because that was, I wanted to ask that question to some of the people that I work with, but I'm always too busy. That's that's what it comes down to.
Right.
Yeah.
Doing beard care and whatnot.
Dude, shut up. Don't fucking bring my beard into this, dude.
Hey, leave my beard out.
Leave my beard out of this, brother.
That's funny. But okay, so like let's get to like the good stuff. Like so what when somebody goes in, do they like, is it like usually for therapy and then you recommend this, or do they specifically come in for EMDR, or how does it work?
It seems to be more and more that I'm getting people who are actively seeking out EMDR.
Okay.
More people know at least of it. They know what it is, or maybe they had a therapist who recommended go find an EMDR therapist.
Right.
So at least for me, that's what I see. A lot of people are specifically
well, and
wanting it.
that's why I heard about it through people experiencing it and then actually having success with it, dealing with the trauma. And then that's really how I've heard about it, and that's what really piqued my interest, because it's just like, oh, this is light stuff and all this stuff. So let's that's what I want this episode to really spell out what a person can expect from like point A, getting there, to how long and all that kind of stuff. So
A day in the life of Miss Cook's client.
there we go.
Yeah. So it really depends on each person, on what you're looking to address, I guess, what you're coming to therapy for in the first place.
Right.
But there are different ways to do EMDR. I kind of think of it in two different buckets. We can work through symptoms, like reducing symptoms in your day-to-day life so that your everyday life is easier.
Right. And that's like trauma symptoms, right? Or,
right, yeah. Like the anxiety, panic, flashbacks, those
Right.
kinds of things. And then, or we can do really getting at the underlying causes, processing the underlying trauma, or if there's memories or whatever it might be, that ultimately resolves those symptoms. And sometimes we have to do a little bit of both. But some people are like, I don't want to get into the trauma stuff. I just need these panic attacks to stop, or I just need to have less flashbacks.
Well, it's funny because I used to have anxiety attacks all the time. I had my first one in the Pittsburgh airport, which was fun. Yeah, but what mine turned out to be was alcohol. Because people don't realize that the alcohol, it's a temporary solution. It's going to work. You get a little shitty. You're going to be okay. But then it's going to eventually come back. And then, eventually over 10, 15 years, oh, shit, I'm drinking every day because I'm having anxiety attacks. But then, even though I heard that, that can cause it, I'm like, well, it's the only solution I got. Either that or just, stay knocked out on Xanax all day, and I don't want that. So, yeah.
Yeah. And then you're caught in that the alcohol is helping with my anxiety and panic, but then it's also causing anxiety.
Right. Well, I say the solution became the problem.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's a lot of times, that's the idea behind trauma. Really, it's like a lot of times our solutions, our defenses that worked back then, whenever back then was, at one point in our lives, they stop working. It's like those mechanisms expire, or they're now getting in the way more than they actually are helping.
Right.
But at one point they were brilliant. Like drinking until I don't feel this panic is brilliant.
Right.
But then it becomes the issue. And so we can do EMDR targeting all kinds of things, but traditionally it was developed in the 1990s by this lady, Francine Shapiro.
Tell us a little history about it.
Yeah. So it's been around. It's fairly new, but it's now been around for a little bit. It's really well researched. So this lady, Francine Shapiro, the story is that she was walking the park one day and was thinking about some stressful event, and she was moving her eyes back and forth, left and right, and found, the disturbance behind this, whatever she was thinking about, has come down so much. And she's got all these therapist friends, so she goes and tries it out on them and realizes that, it's these eye movements that are helping bring the charge down.
Okay.
I don't know if I believe the story, but we'll go with it.
Right, sure.
It's probably a psyop.
It sounds good.
It's a psyop, for sure.
Yeah, so EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, it uses that bilateral stimulation, what was originally only eye movements, but now we can use tapping or even auditory tones that go in one ear and then the other, as long as it's bilateral on one side and the other of your body. And it basically turns on this like information processing system in your brain, the adaptive information processing system.
Nice.
Which is what is going on in REM sleep.
I love acronyms all day long.
There's so many. There's so many of these. Yeah.
I like to start, in recovery, there's just so many acronyms, and I like to start making stuff up. The TAMS, which is trigger analyzing mechanisms. I just made that.
Yes, the TAMS.
Yeah. The TAMS.
Yeah. Don't cancel us. Don't cancel us, dude.
So anyway, so where was I? What do we do? We are
a bilateral.
We're turning on that system of your brain that is activated every night. Well, in theory, every night. If you sleep well enough, you're going through the different stages of sleep, and there's REM sleep, which is rapid eye movement sleep. And that's when your brain's processing all of the material, the information, the stuff that came in that day, and like filing it away, sorting it in its little places. So we can do using bilateral stimulation, eye movements, whatever we choose. We're turning on that system in your brain and then basically like feeding it, here's the memory that didn't get fully processed, or here's the thing that's not working for me anymore. So we're consciously focusing on that. And I mean, it's pretty scripted. It can be. You could literally, as a therapist, you can read scripts, but...
Is it like looking at a EKG or something like that?
No.
Well, no, when you're saying because you can read it like a script, like
yeah, okay.
You know how
she's talking about like walking you through, literally reading a script to walk you through.
Oh, I got you. I didn't know if there was like feedback afterwards,
like a lie detector.
Yeah.
Ooh, you've got extra trauma.
Right. Here's where the trauma was.
Yeah.
And that's when we started talking about your beard, Chad.
He got real agitated right here.
Right.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
But
no, it's the therapist is kind of lighting up these different areas of your brain. So every memory is processed on a thinking level, an emotional level and a sensing level. And we're activating all those different components of the memory.
Okay.
So you're going to be feeling and thinking and emoting what you were feeling and thinking and emoting back then, which can be intense if you're processing something really
well, and that's where it comes in handy when you're a therapist.
Exactly.
You know, so
Yeah, that's why you can talk them. Do it
you can
because
talk
you would
them
just
off
be
the
like,
ledge.
Hey man, let's think.
Hey,
about, hey brother, we're gonna think about that thing, man.
Right? Hey, real quick, let's throw to commercial. Our good friend Max the Axe at Lone Star Injury Attorneys. If you go to thispinklawyer.com, it will take you to the website. If
the internet's up,
right?
If the internet's down, it might not take you to the website.
Exactly.
So we just had to say that.
But if you
We
go
don't have
to
to say
thispinklawyer.com,
But I said
it will
that.
take you to Lone Star Injury Attorneys. He will get you the maximum results for your personal injury needs.
Otherwise, his name's not Max the Axe.
And he practices in Texas and California.
Yeah, man, in both states.
All right.
2 states.
And then Lil Sheila, a.k.a. Chad's
Shout
mom,
out Lil Sheila.
has a book out, and
Yeah, man.
it is called Two
Calls.
Calls. And then the website is twocalls.org, but you have a commercial.
Phone call as a parent that your son has been hit by a car and is being life flighted.
2 hours before we got the call, Chad had called me to tell me it was the best day of his life. And then I get another call, and a stranger had found him, and they were care flighting him to a trauma unit, and that he would start praying for our family that we needed to hurry.
You know, when you wake up on the operating table and they're like, we're going to cut off both your legs. And then I wake up and then one's gone, the other one's in an external rod system. It's just not good. The real kicker is that I've had like all of these scars all over my arms, and that's all from complications resulting from drug abuse.
I never thought about giving up on him. Never. This is my son, and I know he's going to be okay. You cannot just have help for the addict. You have to seek out professional help. The whole family has been affected.
And I just want to make that very clear to anybody who's out there listening, that if I can do this thing as much as I've been through, man, there's a lot of wiggle room for people before they get to that point where they can do it too.
All right. And that book is called Two Calls.
Yeah.
And Little Sheila, a.k.a.
Shout out Lil Sheila.
Sheila Williamson.
Shout out Lil
wrote
Sheila.
that. And y'all also are doing speaking and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
we speak and stuff.
Y'all just had a,
Yeah, we just did a book signing in downtown McKinney.
right?
At the library. It was really good.
Okay. And if they want to get
And
the
if they want
book,
to get the book, it's on Amazon. It's also now on shelf in 2 different Barnes and Nobles in the area.
All right.
There's one
Shout
in
out.
North Park, the fancy one.
Shout out
and then
bookstores.
one at the Frisco Mall.
Nice.
She's in 2 different Barnes and Nobles, man. 'Cause
That's-
she went and she was like, "Yo, I'm Lil Sheila."
dude, and
They're
they,
like, "Yo,
and,
Lil
no, and they
Sheila."
go
They're
like
like,
this.
"Oh,
They go, oh, that's tight.
They were like,
Yeah.
"Hey, that's tight. You
That's
got, you
tight.
can put
You
some
good.
books up there.
You good?
But yeah, you can get on Amazon and other stuff
All right.
too. And then yeah, if they want to reach out to us about whatever, whether they want us to do speak stuff or if they
Speak
want to just
stuff.
speak to us and stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's Chad at twocalls.org or Sheila at twocalls.org.
Well, and the whole reason why your mom wrote this book is so people in the same or similar situations can relate to it.
yes, and to show families that there are resources available because
Right.
the whole family has been affected. That
Yeah.
was the main purpose of the book. This was part of her healing journey as well,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been really cool to watch this whole thing take place. We've had a lot of really good conversations with
Cool.
a lot of people because you never know what somebody's struggling with until they talk about it.
Right.
And then that's the whole
For
thing
sure.
to kind of bring awareness
And
to
that's
it.
why
like,
we
look,
have
what am I
this show.
thinking about right now? Take a guess.
You're thinking about your
Wrong.
beard.
Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan. See,
You're thinking about your
if
glasses.
I didn't tell you I was thinking about Jackie Chan, you wouldn't know. So
Right.
start talking about what you're thinking about.
Right.
And, maybe
well, hey, I'm
there's
thinking
help.
about we should throw to some music
Let's
because
throw
we
to
got
some music. There you go.
We got.
See, I had no idea you were going to
We
say
got
that.
new
Actually,
stuff
yes,
out,
I did.
and it's
I knew you
called
would say that.
new track called Fantasy, and it is streaming on all major platforms. That is actually a song called Fantasy, and that is by me and Chafe Lemons.
Hey, brother, it's Chafe Lemons.
All right,
And
Chafe
if you
Lemons.
don't listen to our shit and like and subscribe, brother, I might just lose another leg.
Hey.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, if you go to Spotify, there's actually a playlist called This Is Kelly Reverb, and I put all our songs on there. So that, or you can look up YouTube. We both have channels.
Yeah, we both have channels.
And then also, of course, this channel.
Yep.
Be
And
sure
so
and
like
subscribe
and like
to
and
all of
subscribe
them.
it. And then click it. Smash that like button.
Smash
Smash that fucking button.
You dirty
You
bitch.
dirty bitch. Smash that fucking like button.
All right. This
This is
is
how we
gone.
get canceled for
Right,
sure. dude.
exactly. We have this
so-
completely pleasant young lady,
sounds like
and
a-
we're just
ASMR person
yeah,
doing
we're just
EMDR, dude.
we're just classing it up
Stripping,
here.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Welcome
I
to the
apologize.
universe, man.
I apologize.
Yeah.
But okay, so well, let's get into it. So I know you brought some show and tell. So I guess
Is that how we
let's-
check our thetan levels?
Let's talk. Yeah, that's why I was going to say the Scientology cans.
Yeah.
Right. But like, so, okay. So from point A to point B, how does it work? So somebody comes in the door, they say, I want to experience EMDR. Take us away.
Yeah. So we'll identify what do you want to do EMDR for?
Right.
What's the problem
Right.
that we're focusing on? So, in theory, if there is one, you've had one trauma, a car accident or some single incident that you want to process, that's rarely the case, but we'll say it happens. Then that's the target that we're going to process, that we're going to use. And so EMDR has 8 phases that I won't get into because I don't want to say them wrong. But
Well, so like, let's say Chad wants to deal with trauma for his car wreck where he lost his
Yeah,
leg,
this seems
right?
awfully it's just a free session,
Let's
dude.
just right. That's the whole thing. That's why we got
Yeah.
you in here for
Fuck.
a freebie on
I'm
the
not ready
air.
to let it go.
it's gone. It's gone. We got
But-
to process this.
Yeah. So how would it go? So then you ask him a series of questions and then figure out, okay, cool. I mean, obviously it's
Yeah,
a
that's what she
traumatic.
says.
Cool.
She goes,
She goes,
oh, that's
okay.
She goes, that's tight.
That's tight.
That's tight.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to start definitely with taking some history, like getting what's the background, even if it's just one memory that we're really going to target. I still want to know, like, did your parents love you as children, as a
Right,
child? Like,
sure.
did you, like, were there other things in your,
Ancillary
Yeah.
background stuff going on besides that.
besides, exactly.
Right.
And not only,
Is there a reason why you cut your leg off, Chad?
right, exactly. I'm going to be looking for
Right,
those
sure,
things
yeah.
and the stuff that's like, the protective resilience factors, the good stuff that's happened. So I can use that as we can tap into that as we're processing the hard stuff, the negatives. We need some of the good stuff too. That if I know a little bit more about you,
Right.
your resources, then it's going to help me. But yeah, we're going to do some history taking.
Maybe like some coping skills that you have. And gotcha.
Yeah, and easily. So one of the phases, the second phase of EMDR is all about resourcing, and with a lot of folks, that's like the meat. That is like really what I do most of, especially if we're talking about somebody who maybe doesn't have like one incident trauma, or
Sure.
there wasn't any specific thing. It was just like
Life happened.
Yeah, you
Uh-huh.
know, that kind of thing. I'm doing a lot of resourcing where we can actually use the tapping or the bilateral stimulation to help your brain. Basically, we'll be creating neural networks in your brain for positive things, for resources. Like if you didn't have, let's say you didn't have parents that loved you as a child, we can imagine that, and your brain doesn't know the difference. If
Sure.
we can tap into how that might feel, how
Well, they
you know.
say carving new neural pathways because, like, for example, I had, I used to keep my vodka in a water bottle in the freezer. And you're like, yeah, that's delicious.
As one does.
But so I would keep it there. And then so what I did is when I got out of rehab is I just went with the Mio. So the Mio is in the same spot. Since I already have that pathway, I'm just like, go hit that instead of,
Exactly. Yeah.
Grandpa instead of grandpa.
Neural pathway.
Instead of
just putting
grandpa
Mio in water. In
no.
spot.
But I'm just saying I'm triggered to go to the refrigerator, and it's a habit. It's a behavioral habit. So it is a neural pathway. You dick.
It's true.
Yes.
Yeah. Because our brains are association machines.
Right.
Like that's the whole point. If we had to think every time, every time you saw a water bottle, what is that?
Right.
Like,
oh shit.
how does this work?
That?
Like,
right.
no, we know, even if you've never seen a certain water bottle before, you know what they look like. You know, okay, that's what this is. And like a doorknob, even if you've never seen a certain doorknob before, you have a pretty strong assumption of how it's going to work because our brain has created a neural network for those concepts. And yeah, it's so that we can anticipate what to expect in the world, and it's not constantly new all the time. And that's, you look at like babies, small toddlers, and they look like they're high all the time because they are like everything is overwhelming. It's all new.
Right.
They don't have all of those networks yet.
Right. Gotcha. Well, so then that's like, I guess, the questioning part. And so then you identify the targets. And then so how does it work, like, to where, how are we going to treat those targets? Because I noticed you you brought up tapping a couple of times, and I've heard
tippy taps.
That as a aversion therapy type of thing for people like that are into cutting or something like that.
Yeah, there's different. Yeah, there's a
yeah. You're
method.
like, yeah, I heard that too.
That's a different thing.
Is that right?
There's some tapping involved in other therapy methods as well.
Right.
But yeah, using bilateral tapping, or like you could even self-tap. You don't have to have the little buzzies. But using bilateral stimulation, however that looks, whatever we decide on, whatever feels the most comfortable for you as the client, we'll use that. And basically, we're going to light up that memory network in your brain with, if we're talking about a car accident or whatever the memory is, we're going to identify what image represents kind of the worst part of that, what emotions go with it, what sensations or any like body sensations that are coming up in the now. What do you feel? My stomach's in knots or whatever.
Right.
Turning all of those, or like lighting up all of those elements of the memory, and then what does it make you believe about yourself, or what's the negative belief? I'm not safe, or something bad's about to happen.
Right.
I'm not worth any. Like, there's all kinds of
or reliving the trauma of the actual event. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So we do all of that, and if we've resourced properly, you're going to be like 1 foot in the memory and 1 foot in the now. So you're not totally you're not going to be reliving the trauma.
Right.
But you're going to be remembering it. So it can be pretty intense. We're going to be feeling
right.
You're
going to be processing some heavy emotions. Right.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's where I definitely want to know my client pretty well, so I can tell, okay, this is what they look like when they're overstimulated, or when they're getting flooded with those old emotions or sensations, so I can help. Let's reel it back, or come back into the room if you're like too far into the memory. But yeah,
we got a crier. We got a crier. That's what I would do in the middle of therapy. Oh, somebody's about to cry.
You fucking pussy.
Right. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
What are you about to cry?
What are you about to cry? That would be so hilarious, dude. If like somebody's like telling you about.
Well, you want to cry like a little baby? You're just gonna cry over a little memory.
Start mocking you. You get mocked during therapy, dude. That would be hilarious.
Oh my God. You'd be surprised. Like, if I know a client well enough and they're like, that would help them to just like make a joke about it. It's a defense mechanism for a reason. It can help people come back into the room if it's like, hey, don't forget this is a memory. It's not actually happening right now.
Yeah.
I'll use it. If it works, I'll go with it. I mean, I'm not going to mock my clients, but you know.
Tito, get me a tissue.
Just a little baby, want a little napkin for a little teals.
All right. That's hilarious. But okay, so all right. So like the EMDR. So what did you bring in that lovely bank bag today?
So yeah, I brought, these are tappers that a lot of therapists use. Just to give you an idea. Hold on, let me detangle them. I probably should have done that before.
No, it's all good.
But yeah, it's got a little thingy that.
Can you see it on the camera?
Yeah, you see it on the camera.
So show them it again. What it looks like.
So it basically, these are called the TheraTappers.
It looks like a garage door opener
and
for those listening.
Right, yeah.
With a headphone plug.
Yeah.
And it does have a headphone plug. I don't really use it because the beeping is real, don't like it.
All right, very shrill.
But I do have other auditory. Some clients like the auditory better, and there's research that shows with like chronic pain type of things, certain issues, there's different, the auditory has a better effect than eye movements
so
or
it
tapping.
Seems to be more effective. Gotcha.
For certain issues.
Right.
But yeah, so we'll turn these on and you can, here, if you want to. Put one in each hand. Okay. So
does it matter?
No.
There's a black and a gray one.
Nah, doesn't matter.
That's racist.
But you can.
Black and gray?
Dude, chill, dude.
That's racist. Okay.
And so, yeah, you can change how intense it is. You probably can feel it.
Yeah, I can feel it.
That's all the way up.
I kind of want to put it on my shoulders because I need a massage.
I'll have some people will
Here,
put them under their knees or I mean, you can put them on your shoulders, but basically you can feel they're going to be going.
Right.
They're buzzing.
Left, right.
Left, right, left,
They're
right.
bilaterally.
Bilateral, exactly.
Right.
What do you know about that?
And you can,
Is that right?
so yeah, that we'll turn those on, or if we're doing eye movements, I'll have people follow my fingers, or we have a light bar. If my shoulder gets tired, then follow the light. And
okay, so it's almost like a field sobriety test, where you do the follow, like with the pen.
It is,
and actually, you know what they why they do that? Do you even know?
For the field sobriety test?
Yeah.
I have a
theory.
Dude, I passed it every time, no matter how shit-faced I was.
Okay, what's your theory?
Because you can see somebody's eyes you'll have trouble tracking.
Well, no, it's actually because subconsciously, if you're wasted, that your eyes will rock over here. Like when you get to the corners, that you can't control it, and it subconsciously happens. Because I asked one of my cop buddies, I was like, well, what do you do with that? And he goes, because your eyes involuntary rock over there. So, by the way, if you're doing a field sobriety test, good luck.
Dude, I passed one, and then but I was in my car, passed out.
Well, dude, but you can
I
also
had my leg off,
but you can
in the driver's seat, and then they were like, "Why are you in your car?" And it's like 3 a.m. Right? I was like, "Dude, I just came out here to listen to Radiohead." They were like, "Get the fuck out!"
Right?
So then I got out. I blew a 0.4 after I passed the walking test and the field sobriety test with the eyes and everything. Yeah. And they were like, "You need to get a fucking ride right now."
Right?
And they let me go.
That's
well,
wild.
You can also handle enough. Well, back in the day, you can handle enough for an elephant.
Yeah. Not now, dude.
Right.
I wouldn't even try it now.
But so anyway.
Yeah, that's crazy, though.
Back to the eye tracking. So you use a light bar, and how is it how big is the light bar?
Okay. It's like maybe a couple feet wide. I mean, there's different ones. I don't use it a lot.
Right.
I usually will just use my hand.
Your finger, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And that way I can see as long as your eyes are crossing.
And then,
your
so
nose.
are you talking to me the whole time? I'm like you're tracking? No. Okay.
No. So we'll activate those different parts of the memory, the image. What represents the worst part of that memory, any smells, sounds, anything like that, sensory stuff. Where do you feel it in your body? How charged does it feel right now? And what's the negative belief or negative cognition that goes with that? And then we'll we'll do some eye movements. I shut up, and after a minute, or I mean, it depends. After a short set, I'll stop, take a deep breath. What
Are you over there
now?
do you ever feel like Obi-Wan Kenobi or Yoda?
Honestly, it's crazy to watch, like, how quickly sometimes I can see somebody's, like, the charge coming up, like the emotions, or like, you know, when someone's about to cry, you can kind of tell sometimes.
Sure.
To whittle quiet.
You can see the whittle quiet, like it's the tear that's coming.
Right.
And yeah, like very quickly, sometimes within that same like set of eye movements or BLS, it comes down very quickly.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes it takes a couple
I
steps,
just keep on thinking, these are not the droids you want.
It's wild.
Yeah.
No, and I mean, like, God complex over here.
Right.
Like,
God complex.
Look at what I did.
Nice recall.
Oh, did I stop your whittle quiet because I'm a whittle god?
So you do that, and then once you do that, how does the light and or sound and or tapping come into play?
So we do a minute of that, pause. Okay, what are you noticing now? You know, I feel really tense in my shoulders, maybe, or maybe I'm remembering this other aspect of the memory or whatever it is. Okay, go with that, and we do some more. And basically, we're processing through all these different channels of the memory. You know, it could be the feeling of it, the emotion of it, what happened right before, or what happened right after. Sometimes, I mean, if we're talking about like a car accident, let's say, if it's not fully processed, we don't often remember, oh yeah, this person helped me through it, and I remember the kind smile of the EMT or whatever. We're not thinking about that part. So as you're processing, you start to find all of this other stuff where it's like, oh, I was actually not alone in that, or whatever.
Right.
You know, these different elements of the memory that were there, even if you hadn't thought about it in a long time.
Right.
They start to kind of come up so that your brain's trying to process all of that in this adaptive way, so that, oh yeah, okay, that was then, this is now. Every time I get in a car now, doesn't mean that I'm in that memory
in
again.
That danger. Yeah. Well, so is there any kind of statistics out now on EMDR as far as success rates go?
Yeah, there's tons of research now. If you go on the EMDRIA.org website, EMDR International Association, that's kind of like the governing body of EMDR.
Well, of course they're going to skew it towards. There's like 101%
success rate.
But it's been endorsed by like the VA, the
Well, I mean,
NASW.
that's why I wanted to have you on to talk about it, because I've heard so many people say that they've dealt with trauma
And
successfully
completely reprogrammed the way that they view
through
events.
this.
Yeah. And I mean, I've done EMDR as a client my own self. And I think, honestly, that was probably one of the most helpful things for me as a practitioner, to feel what it feels like and recognize, okay, this is what I'm asking people to do. This is how charged it can get for me. So yeah, that was helpful.
Sure.
And yeah, it does work. And it's something I liked. Well, one thing I did want to mention with EMDR, so you don't necessarily have to remember all of the objective facts about a memory or about a trauma. You don't even have to remember it at all. As long as, well, maybe not at all. You have to remember
some of it.
Of it, yeah. But you don't have to remember every single detail. Your brain's going to remember. It's in there. Whatever needs reprocessing is in there. And you also don't actually have to talk about it. So I've had a number of clients that they had something they wanted to process, but they were like, I can't say this out loud.
Right.
Or like, I don't want to get into the nitty gritty of what went down.
Sure.
That's too much. And so it honestly doesn't matter. As long as you can think about it and bring it to mind and give me maybe like a little tidbit
something to work with. Yeah.
Something just to make sure that we're on track.
Right.
You don't actually have to talk about the details and share every little bit of it verbally, which can be so helpful. And honestly, as people get into, or get through processing that, it actually becomes easier
Right.
to talk about it
Yeah.
because
Sure.
you're bringing the charge down. So
Right.
it's, yeah.
Have you ever had anybody? Oh, yeah, I murdered somebody.
I plead the fifth.
That's a Chad. Chad comes in with his glasses on.
All right.
I murdered somebody.
Hey, I seen your dance moves from across the way. You're gonna go back to my house, maybe party hardy. I got a fucking mean impersonation.
That is pretty
That's
good,
pretty
dude.
good.
That
with
is
the
pretty
show.
good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's just an impersonation.
It's just
Right.
an impersonation. We're also not therapists.
That
you know what I mean?
that
But we should have
No,
prefaced
but
this
that-
whole
but
episode with
that-
being like, "Hey guys, me and Kelly are not
Right.
therapists. We so shut your little quiet, your pussy up."
you've got a mean Jeffrey Dahmer, and then also the mean Buffalo Bill. Goodbye horses.
Oh, I don't think they're ready for that one.
Yeah, right.
We're putting that out in October.
That's funny.
boy.
We got a Goodbye Horses remix we're putting out in October.
That's gonna be tight, fool.
Yeah, fool.
Anyway, well, okay. So, and then the one question I wanted to ask: so, is EMDR is it covered by insurance, and what price range can you expect if you don't have like insurance?
Good question.
Thank you.
So it is covered by insurance.
Okay.
It kind of depends on, like, some therapists will do EMDR intensives where they're doing like a 3-hour long or a day long session where we're just going to power through and get through a bunch of material, a bunch of
Yeah,
whatever memory.
right.
And those are typically not covered by insurance, but if you're just doing like hour-long sessions, it's covered the same as therapy.
Right.
Any yeah.
Okay, and then if somebody actually wants to receive therapy from you, where is your place of business?
Yes. So I am founder at Onward Therapy and Wellness.
Okay.
And
Well, see, if you're the owner, eventually you will have people, and you will be able to be God.
You will be.
I mean,
You will be God.
that's a lot.
and then you can franchise. And then
Exactly.
there you go. Then there's that magic wand over the entire world.
I, Molly, I, all that is woman.
That is right.
No, we have a few clinicians. It's myself, and then I have a few others that do EMDR as well, and other therapy modalities. But yeah, we're based in Dallas. I also have one clinician in Austin.
What's the clinic called, and then what's the contact info?
Onward Therapy and Wellness. And you can contact us. I mean, we have a website. onwardtherapyandwellness.com.
Okay.
Google us or
Google us.
Yes, that'd be funny if she was like northsidemethadone.com.
right.
just Google it.
We sell methadone.
Yeah, we also do methadone and Suboxone too.
Right. Yeah.
No, we don't.
She's like, oh, maybe we need to.
I have strong thoughts.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, about
I
Matt.
think a lot of us do.
Yeah. So anyway, but that's an entirely different episode.
Yeah.
Right.
But okay, so they can get a hold of you there, and then what as far as pricing, if you're an uninsured, how does it work?
If you're uninsured, you're going to be looking at
You're fucked.
it is harder to
Is
find.
it expensive?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, any therapy is harder to
Right. Well, I mean, telehelp has gotten cheap. Where telehelp's like what, $30 for
BetterHelp.
BetterHelp or whatever.
Again,
You're like,
strong
BetterHelp?
thoughts.
Yeah.
Strong thoughts on BetterHelp.
Okay.
But yeah, it is an option if it makes it more affordable,
Right.
but it's also you get what you pay for sometimes.
Yeah.
No offense. No
Right.
offense.
This guy, the guy on BetterHelp, he thought about being a therapist at one point, but he's really not. He's a mechanic. So are you good with that?
Right.
Okay, yeah, and it's $30 an hour.
Right. Yeah. No, and I mean there are sliding scale places.
Gotcha. And then of course y'all probably give like a military discount or somebody that's dealing with PTSD from a severe situation like that, right?
I mean, in theory, they're going to have insurance, but
right.
yeah. There's resources out there.
Okay.
But yeah, usually you're going to end up cash paying for your therapy, which if you're going to be doing any paying out of pocket for therapy, I think EMDR is a good one because you're basically what you can process in one session of EMDR is like 5 or 10 or more sessions.
All right.
Of
So,
talk
okay.
therapy.
So I want to actually have Chad come in and do it, but I want to watch it. I want to film it. That would be cool to have an episode where we actually did that. I mean,
He's like,
it's not, well,
yeah.
no, Chad doesn't care. I mean, he's pretty open with all his.
How you know what I care about?
with all
You
your
don't know what I
baggage.
care about. Yeah, I would be down. I would be down to film an episode.
Would that be cool?
kinda
Would that be
cool.
something we would do?
I got to think about this.
Is it HIPAA?
We'd have
HIPAA
to-
compliant?
Yeah, right.
We'll
You
have
have
to
to
do some
sign some
disclaimers.
things.
I would.
Yeah.
I sign all sorts of shit
Yeah.
all the time. I can't even read, so I don't even know what I'm signing.
Right. Chad just puts an X.
Right.
I walk around my work all day, and they're like, "Hey, man, will you?"
Yep.
I'm like, "Dude, I can't even read
I
this."
just have a pen attached to my hand.
Yeah. It's like I
just doing
consent. I can. Yeah, for sure.
I think that would be really cool to do an actual, I mean, even if we couldn't make an entire episode out of it, I think it would be cool to, to see implicated live.
I think so too. And if you go on, like, there are some YouTube pages where you can
Right.
find some demonstrations that
Yeah, but
give you
not
a
on
little
Chad.
idea. But not on Chad. This is
I got some heavy shit to fucking
Yeah.
talk about with it. So bring back up the car wreck, dude. So because that would be interesting. I know a lot of positive things.
You mean
are
that
from
time
it,
where
and my
you lost-
my brain has done a lot of work, like rewiring some of the stuff. But I mean, I still, I still have symptoms to this day that would probably be tied with that.
for sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
So-
We'll make it happen.
All right.
I like it. But thank you for coming out. And then also
Thank
anybody
you.
you would like to shout out?
I
No?
mean, yeah.
Okay.
Anybody I would like to shout out?
Yeah, shout out.
Shout out your peeps.
I mean, I was thinking. We kind of shouted out Adam and CJ.
Yeah.
from
Yeah,
Monster
man.
Recovery.
With Mantra Recovery.
Mantra or mantra.
Mantra
Right.
Recovery.
Yeah, they're the one. They paved the way. I was like, do I want to do the podcast? Do I want
Right.
to go out of my comfort zone?
Right.
But because they had done it, I was like, okay.
Well, I mean, I think you're a natural.
Yeah, man.
I think you're good.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you should do ASMR with your EMDR.
Right.
And then have more letters. Hold on, let's do the letter alphabet
Yeah.
again, right
Right.
in front of her.
We'll just
There we go.
add
There you go.
ASMR.
LCSW, LCDC, RYT, EMDR certified ASMR.
ASMR. Professional.
Add that one
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
there. Yeah. But anyway, well, thanks for coming on. I appreciate
having
it.
me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then we'll definitely try to do. I think it would be fun to do an episode in the field outside of, because then you wouldn't have to bitch about how they have everything set up. We
Yeah.
could just
Yeah, y'all should
wear
come over
lapel
and-
mics.
All right, well, you got to buy that shit.
Okay. Hey, you got to buy that.
You got to buy that shit.
All right.
Hey, bro, I ain't got money like that,
Right.
man. I told you I can't even read half the
You
stuff
got
I'm
mon-
signing.
I mean, and
That slumped
Plus-
into like a Forrest Gump voice there.
Right.
Ian.
Kinda
I
did.
can't read nothing. Jen A has AIDS.
sweet, dude. All right. Well, anyway, but thank you for coming out. Next week we got your dude,
John and Pookie, dude.
John and Pookie, dude. I can't.
John and fucking Pookie.
Well, we're gonna do them separately, right? So
yeah,
John
well,
and then-
we'll have them both on with
Right,
each other
at the same time.
and it'll be tight.
all right, it'll be tight.
super dope.
I swear it'll be tight. All right, so I'm looking forward to that next week. And then remember, kids, like, subscribe, all that stuff. And then remember, kids, there is no magic pill for sobriety, because if there was, we would all take too many.